Raised by wolves with canine DNA in his blood, having trained more than 24,000 pets, helping you and your fur babies thrive. Live in studio, it's Pet Talk Today with Will Bangura, answering your pet behavior and training questions. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host and favorite pet behavior expert, Will Bangura.
Good Saturday morning. It's July 31st. Thanks for tuning in and letting us be part of your Saturday morning. I'm your host, Will Bangura, and you're listening to Pet Talk Today here on 1100 KFNX, where we take your calls and answer your pet behavior and training questions each and every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Do you have a crazy cat or an out-of-control dog that desperately needs some training and behavior help? Are you fed up with your pets just not listening? Maybe you've got a cat that just refuses to use the litter box. Maybe you've got a dog that is destructive or hyper. Maybe you've got a dog that's pulling you down the street. Whatever your problem that you have with your pet, whether it's a dog, whether it's a cat, whether it's a rabbit, whether it's a bird, that's what we do here at Pet Talk Today. We're here to help you deal with all of those nuisance behaviors. If you'd like help with your pet's behavior, if you'd like help with training your pet, give us a call. If you're in Phoenix or the surrounding area, the number to call is 602-277-5369. That's 602-277-KFNX. Those outside of Phoenix, you can call us toll free at 866-536-1100. We're also live streaming on Facebook. Hey, Facebook folks, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, and I am honored to have my co-host with me today. Sitting beside me is Jordan Marsteller. Good morning.
Good morning, Will. How are you? You know, I'm curious because typically there's two co-hosts here. Where's Brittany at?
Well, let me tell you where Brittany is. Brittany recently got married, as most of you know, and she's on her long due honeymoon. So she's in Hawaii right now with Rick.
You know, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've been to Hawaii. It's fantastic.
You know, I've never been. I want to go. You know, Ruby Ann lived in Hawaii for a while.
Yeah. So she knows all about the luau's and the grass skirts and all that wonderful stuff that goes on the island there. But anyway, we're missing you today, Brittany. Hope you're having a wonderful time. I don't know if you've gotten actually out. You're on your honeymoon. Right. I'm not sure if you've made it out of the hotel room or anything like that. But anyway, enjoy the honeymoon, enjoy the island and the ocean and the well-deserved time off. So if you are listening to our podcast, because every week we record the show here on 1100 KFNX, and we upload that to the Pet Talk Today podcast. Be sure never to miss one of our episodes by subscribing to Pet Talk Today, and you can do that at any of the platforms that you listen to your podcast. And do us a favor, if you are a regular listener to Pet Talk Today, if you listen to our podcast, do us a favor, do us a solid, please give us a review. We'd love to get your reviews. It's your reviews that allow us to rank higher in the podcast and allow more and more people to be able to get help with their pets. Today we are going to be obviously taking your calls, answering your questions. If you've got a question, you can give us a call. Again, that number is 602-277-5369. That's 602-277-KFNX. Outside of Phoenix, you can call us toll free at 866-536-1100. Also, if you are watching us on Facebook Live and you've got a question about your pet, then go ahead and in the comments section, you can type your questions. We'll either try to get to them live during today's show or during our breaks. We'll be talking to our Facebook folks during our breaks. Share if you are on Facebook and you're watching us live stream, be sociable. Share
yes,
it. Let
share
your
it.
friends and
social
families
media
know.
platform.
Yeah. So today, if we have time, I'm actually today and next week, I want to talk about and discuss the how and the what you need to do when you get a new puppy.
Yes, Will, this is a very important topic.
Well, I'm going to be selfish here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
A lot has changed in a week's time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All of a sudden, we're getting a new puppy.
You know, I just want to say, folks, that Will Bangura getting a new puppy. You know, I've met his dog, Boo. Wonderful, wonderful, beautiful dog. Boo is amazing. You know, this dog how many dogs has Boo met in her life?
Boo has met 2 dogs in her life.
2 dogs, folks.
And
The
that's
fact
plenty.
that you are willing to get
plenty.
another dog.
Well, here's the thing. I was okay with not having another dog.
Absolutely.
We want to do more
It was
traveling.
for Amadou, wasn't it?
Well, here's the thing. Amadou, my son, he's going to be going away to college.
Okay.
He's nervous that Boo is going to suffer. That
Okay.
Boo's going to be depressed when he leaves. And we've got to get a dog for Boo, a playmate.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was part of it. But the other part, my wife, who, by the way, has never owned a dog.
Okay.
Right. Never owned a dog. And I happened to get married when I was dogless because my Belgian Malinois had passed away.
Yeah.
And, I started dating my wife. We got married. She's got a terrible allergy to dogs.
Yeah.
My son Amadou's got even a worse allergy to dogs. So what are you going to do? After I lobbied for months and months, I was able to get a hypoallergenic dog.
Okay.
And that was Boo, the miniature schnauzer. And now all of a sudden my wife, who was not a dog person, who said, well, I'll love the dog because you love dogs, who's just fallen head over heels in love with Boo. So crazy about this dog is she, that I've taken second place, which is okay. I get that. I get that. That's why sometimes I like to play that song, love me like you love our dog.
That's
or love me
right.
like you love
That's
my
right.
dog. So, but she wanted her own puppy.
Yeah.
I want my own puppy. I want a puppy, she says, that will love me more than love you.
Right.
Well, now she's backtracking. I don't know. It's okay if the puppy loves you. But see, what it was is that when I got Boo, I traveled to go get Boo.
Right.
Picked up Boo. We went to Pennsylvania. We weathered the rain. We weathered COVID in New Jersey. We flew out of New Jersey right when COVID was at its, peak. And, we fly all the way back. And of course, then I took like a month off.
Right.
Like every day, constantly with this dog, doing everything that needs to be done.
Yeah.
To raise a happy and healthy puppy. Well, of course the puppy bonded with me and fell in love with me.
Of course.
More than them. And well, now they want a puppy of their own that's going to just love them more than me. And so there's this concern. The puppy's still going to love you more than us.
Right.
And I'm like, look, I'll leave. I'll leave.
Go to Hawaii.
There we go. Play the blue Hawaii again. Play the blue Hawaii again. So what I could do is rather than, there you go. So honey, I know you said you didn't want me to leave. You wanted me to stay, but I told you I could pack my bags.
There we go.
I could go send me to a beautiful resort. I deserve it, babe.
I think so.
I deserve
so.
it. I'm willing to suffer. I'm willing to suffer for you. Anyway, I'm Will Bangura, and we'll talk more about me suffering with my wife wanting a new puppy. But we need to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. But when we come back, we will be taking your calls. I think we've got a caller on the line.
Have Brenda from Mesa.
Brenda and Mesa. When we come back from a break, you will be up first, so don't go anywhere. And when we come back, we'll be talking about the do's and don'ts, how to raise a successful puppy, and then also Pet Talk News. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You gotta listen to this, Jordan. Listen to this song. Yeah, listen to the words here. You never want this to happen.
Okay.
Never. Watch for this. Watch for it.
Now you say you never met my wife. You ain't never seen her before. Say you ain't been hanging around my crib. Well, here's something I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know what in the world is going down. How come my dog don't bark when you come around?
How come my dog don't bark when you come around?
That's a good question.
Well, those questions and more today on Pet Talk Today. Hey, I'm your host, Will Bangura. Thanks for staying with us. If you are just joining us, as I said, you're listening to Pet Talk Today here on 1100 KFNX, where we take your calls and answer your pet behavior and training questions each and every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. If you've got a question about your pet's behavior, maybe you've got a dog or a cat that's out of control, whatever the behavior problem is, whatever kind of pet you have, we want to hear from you. We want to help you finally put an end to those nuisance behaviors. So give us a call. If you're in Phoenix or the surrounding area, the number to call is 602-277-5369. That's 602-277-KFNX. Those outside of Phoenix can call toll free at 866-536-1100. As I said, we are going to be taking your calls. Also, we are going to be talking about getting a new puppy. What do you do? How do you begin that process of raising and developing a healthy and happy puppy and keep your sanity as well? However, I think
right now I'm pretty certain we have a caller on the line, Brenda from Mesa.
Brenda from Mesa. Hey, Brenda, welcome to Pet Talk Today. How can we help you? Do you have a question for us?
I adopted I would say a rescue puppy about 2 weeks ago. She's a year and a half old. She's a mini golden doodle. This is her fourth home she's been in, and she's suffering from severe separation anxiety. We can't leave her alone. We have to work. She wants somebody constantly by her side, and she's not crate trained. Do you have any tips on?
I do. And we specialize in all kinds of anxiety, fears, phobias. We specialize in aggression at Phoenix Dog Training, the company that I own. And you can, Jordan and I were dealing with lots of separation anxiety clients right now. A lot of pandemic puppies that people got. The highest number of dog adoptions and dog purchases ever in the history of the United States happened during the pandemic, and we've got more and more dogs, and a lot of them got separation anxiety. Now, you might not like my answers. That's the whole thing, okay? Because there's a right way and a wrong way to deal with this. But the first question I need to ask you, what does this separation anxiety look like?
Exactly.
Are we talking about a dog that's just crying? Are we talking about a dog that is frantically destroying the home when you're gone? What does this look like? Give me some details. Paint the picture for Jordan and myself, because we're not there. We haven't seen it. What does this look like?
She won't go outside by herself to go to the bathroom, so she'll hold it and then go in the house. And then when we have to leave, or even like to go grocery shopping, we leave and she just howls and barks, and we're in an apartment, or like a duplex house, and the neighbors are starting to complain, and just gets real nervous, and probably from her other homes, they kept her outside, one of the homes, and they were home during the pandemic, one of the families. She's as calm as can be when you're around her, but when you leave, she's peeing and pooping in the house and crying, and just gets real nervous and probably runs back and forth, and does that the whole day we're gone.
Gotcha. Okay. And you said you've had the dog for 2 weeks, is that correct?
Right.
Okay, perfect. And you said it's not crate trained. Have you tried to crate train?
No.
Okay.
We did put her in there one night to go to the movies, and she was just howling and scratching at the cage. So,
Did she harm herself? You know, some dogs will get so frantic, they'll be scratching at the cage and their pads will get tore up. They'll get bloody. Some of them, sometimes their nose will get tore up. Some dogs have even broken a tooth trying to get out. Any of that going on with your dog?
No, because as soon as we heard her crying and we turned back around and didn't go to the movies.
Got it. Okay. What's the longest that she has been, by herself, completely by herself, with you guys being gone?
Probably about 4 hours.
Okay. And do you know what happened the entire 4 hours you were gone?
No.
Okay.
We don't.
Okay. Got it.
One
of the things that can be, you know, I don't know if you have a neighbor that you're friendly with that could tell you. Most dogs, now I'm not saying your dog doesn't have separation anxiety, it certainly sounds like it, but most dogs with separation anxiety, it's relatively mild. They usually cry and whine for the first 15 minutes, and then they're done with it. Now that's why I ask you, hey, do you know what happens the entire time that you're gone? Because that makes a big difference on how we're going to address this, how we're going to treat this, how severe it is. You know, if we've got a dog that's crying for 4 hours, if we've got a dog that would hurt themselves in a crate, if we've got a dog that is peeing and pooping and destroying the house, you know, that's pretty severe. And then we also have to take into consideration your lifestyle. You do live in an apartment, and, you know, we want you to be able to keep your place. We don't want you to be evicted. We don't want, you know, complaint after complaint after complaint. But the first thing with separation anxiety is you've got to put an end to the absence. And nobody wants to hear that because that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
The dog will never get over separation anxiety. If it's severe, by us continuing to leave until we've done the work, until we've done the work on the separation anxiety to teach the dog that it doesn't need to have anxiety when you're leaving. But between now and the time that all that work is done, we can't have absence because that is going to exacerbate the problem. So what does that mean? Well, I don't know. Does that mean that you have to have a friend or a family member come in? I don't know. Does that mean you have a pet sitter that comes in? I don't know. Does that mean you take your dog with you to work if you have the ability? I don't know. That is something where you've got to be creative, and I know it's not easy. Some people it's easy. They got somebody that can just jump in and watch it. But so I shouldn't say that because maybe it is for you. I don't know. But that's the first step right there. Then the second step is, okay, now we begin to work on the separation anxiety. And we have to ask ourselves something. If it's very severe, should we be talking to our veterinarian about medication along with doing behavior modification? What are some signs that you might think about medication? Well, if your dog is hurting themselves, if your dog is panicking and just screaming and crying for hours on end and never stops, if you come home and there's wet spots all over and I'm not talking about pee, but I'm talking about a dog that was drooling and hypersalivating and all over the place. That's a dog having a panic attack. Maybe because you got to get things done faster and you live in an apartment. Sorry. I know there's going to be people out there that are going to be angry at me saying, why are you saying medicate the dog just because he's in the apartment? Well, what happens if they got to surrender the dog to a shelter because they can't keep the dog, folks? All right.
This dog is already on house number 4.
Right. And so that's why I mentioned that too. There's some good medications. Now, that's not a substitute for doing the work. You still got to do the work. You still have to avoid the absence. But when it comes to doing the work, you've got to do very short absences. And
No.
you have to, when you leave, when you come home, you got to be the most boring individual in the world. You cannot be exciting at all. You cannot.
Okay.
You have got to be extremely boring. All right? You want to just sneak away, slip away from the puppy for 30 seconds and come back. Don't reward the puppy. That is old school stuff. I'm not saying it won't work, but I'm doing something new and it's working faster, much, much, much faster. Don't reward the puppy. You leave for a very short period of time, even if it's for a second, you pop back in. But don't acknowledge the puppy when you come back into view. Don't acknowledge the puppy when you leave. You've got to be extremely boring. And what will even help during this process is if you're not giving the puppy much love, praise, affection, attention while you're doing this throughout the day. Be boring.
Okay.
Be something that the dog doesn't look forward to, or not that. Be something that the dog doesn't care about missing, so to speak.
Right,
Okay.
right. We're not saying ignore the dog entirely, but just, if you're really amping this dog up all day long, this puppy is going to miss you a lot when you leave.
I'll go beyond, Jordan. I'm going to say give this dog the cold shoulder for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Give the dog the cold shoulder for 2 weeks. Get in and out, short duration, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I'm sorry?
48.
I don't know if the caller, I'm hearing something. I don't know if she came off or not. But, you've got to do very short absences, 1, 2, 3 seconds, come back. And you got to do a lot of that. And then when your puppy doesn't care about 3 seconds, you got to do 10 seconds. Then you got to do 20 seconds and 30. And it's a very slow, gradual process, little by little. We need to take a quick break for news, but when we come back, we'll be taking more of your calls, answering more of your questions. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Can you monkey to the top? Can you monkey to?
Whose favorite toy is her monkey? Monkey. Can your monkey do the dog? I think that's by Rufus King. No, we don't know. That's an oldie. Well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. If you are just joining us, I'm Will Bangura.
And I'm Jordan Marsteller.
And you're listening to Pet Talk Today here on 1100.
So Rufus Thomas.
Rufus Thomas.
Ah.
All right. Rufus Thomas. That was, Can Your Monkey Do the Dog? Anyway, I'm Will Bangura. And beside me, as we just said, is Jordan Marsteller.
That's
and you're
right.
listening to Pet Talk Today on 1100 KFNX, where we take your calls and answer your pet behavior and training questions each and every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. You can also join us on Facebook and go to Facebook Live if you pull up and do a search on Facebook for Pet Talk Today. We are live right now on Facebook. We're also answering your questions, Facebook. So if you are watching in the comment section, feel free to type in your comments. We cannot, unfortunately, get to all questions. So know that you can contact us if you've got a problem with your dog. You can give us a call at Phoenix Dog Training or go to our website at phoenixdogtraining.com. That's phoenixdogtraining.com. If you've got a problem with your cat, you can go to my cat behavior website at catbehavioristphoenix.com as well. Hopefully you're subscribing to the Pet Talk Today podcast. If you're one of our podcast listeners, or if you're not, please subscribe to the Pet Talk Today podcast at any podcast platform, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whether that be Spotify, any one of them, Stitcher, you name it, you can find us by doing a search for Pet Talk Today. And if you're listening to us and you love our podcast, please do us a favor and give us a review. It's your reviews that help more and more people be able to listen to what we have to offer. We are talking today, well, we haven't really got to it yet, but
Not yet.
puppies. And when you get a new puppy, what do you do? What are the best practices? But do we have
we do have somebody on the line right now.
Let's take a call first.
We have I'm going to butcher this. Tamaria out of Phoenix.
Good morning. Welcome to Pet Talk Today. Do you have a question for us? How can we help you?
Good morning. I do have a question. So I have a 5-month-old puppy, and we got him at 2 months, and he was on the right track, meaning like he was peeing on the pee pads.
Mm-hmm.
And about a month ago, he decided to stop peeing on the pee pads to pee on the carpet. And I've used like spray to kind of deter him from peeing on the carpet, and he doesn't seem to care.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, I think I can answer this one, Will.
We're gonna, you know what I also want you to do though, because, that is a good plug for the Potty Training Podcast, which is season 1, episode 16. Go to the Pet Talk Today podcast. Do a Google search, Pet Talk Today podcast. Go to season 1, episode 16, 45 minutes of nothing but potty training information.
That's right.
That is something that, unfortunately, you've got to start over. You got to start over. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not a fan. Jordan's not a fan of potty pads. As far as I'm concerned, that teaches a dog that it's okay to use the house as a toilet.
Absolutely.
In only very, very rare circumstances do I advocate potty pads, but 99% of the time I think it's more detrimental to potty training than actually a help to potty training. But go to the best thing I can do, because I don't have 45 minutes to take you through it, but you're going to get everything you need to know about potty training your puppy by going to the Pet Talk Today podcast. Do a Google search for that. Season 1, episode 16, everything you need to know about potty training your puppy or dog. Before we went to news, I had talked about, my wife is getting a puppy.
Yeah.
She wants a puppy of her own. First time dog owner. Well, this will be her second if you count
right.
Boo.
If you count Boo.
You count Boo.
So I don't think she counts Boo though.
She loves that dog.
She does. She does
she
though.
Counts that dog. I'm a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
Because I need to take a back seat. I really need to take a back seat to make sure that this puppy bonds with them more than me. And I want that to happen. I really want that to happen. It's just naturally that, the puppy is going to bond with me and by nature. So
you have like wolf blood in your DNA.
I do have wolf blood, mate. I was raised by wolves.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And I was willing to leave.
Yeah.
But my wife doesn't want me to leave, and now she's backtracking. Oh, you don't have to take a back seat, but I do.
Yeah.
I do. And here's the thing. Everybody knows this. There's no way in hell I am going to be able to teach her what to do with this puppy.
Right.
Yeah. If you ever want to see dysfunction, okay, have a dog trainer try to teach one of their family members what to do with a family dog, okay?
Yeah.
That there's no fun in that dysfunctional. Trust me.
No, because there's some hard decisions that we have to tell our clients, and it's like, it doesn't work when you're trying to tell your wife that.
No, it doesn't. So, we've employed Jordan. To come on out. We did, Doggy 911 made the call, made the emergency call. Jordan's going to come out, work with Hannah, work with Amadou. But let's talk about what do you do? What's the first thing you do when you get a new puppy?
Well, my suggestion, the very first step, find yourself a vet. That is step number 1.
Especially right now.
Oh my goodness.
It's difficult to get a vet. It's difficult to get in. They're still crazy, booked out, a lot of them.
Yep.
Because again, all these massive amounts of new dogs.
Then after you found yourself a vet, maybe get in contact with that vet, start talking about food, nutrition, how much exercise your breed needs, how much time, what kinds of things they're going to need, i.e., a kennel. We're going to want an area for this dog to be confined because we're talking about a puppy. And until you do the work, there's no guarantee that they are not going to poop and pee and chew up your house. So we need to get a kennel to be able to kennel train them. Get them an area, a nice, alone, low traffic area in your home that people will not be going in and out of because you're now bringing a small, little new animal into a big new area with lots of new smells, new sounds, new things, new items, new everything, and it's pretty scary. And he or she might be a little bit overwhelmed. And when that happens, they need some space. Let them process on their own. Don't overwhelm them. And please, people, just a tip, free training tip, don't carry your dogs. Do not pick them up and carry them. They have four legs.
Good luck. Good luck me trying to tell Hannah not to carry that dog with her all over.
Hey, I'm the trainer. I got this, Will.
The only good news is it's a schnauzer. It's small. It's little. You know, if it jumps up on you, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But, I'm dreading this. You know, there's the potty training. Yep. Not that I'm dreading it. If I were in charge, hey, piece of cake, let me at it. But two things. They've got to do this.
They do.
Which means I have to let go. That is not, do you know how difficult it is as a dog trainer to let go and let my family raise this puppy, train this puppy, especially the early stuff, you know? It's like, you know, I'm freaking out about early exposure. I'm freaking out about potty training. I'm freaking out about mouth manners and the dog getting things in its mouth that it shouldn't.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, oh man, we're getting it August 16th. It's going to be freaking hot. The puppy's not want to go outside and actually use the bathroom.
Folks, the worst part is I'm this dog's trainer. So
no, the worst part is I'm your boss.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you better deal with this dog and my wife. You better train my wife. You better.
I gotta do this right. This right.
You better train my wife.
Oh my goodness.
Man, you know.
Oh my.
My marriage could be, you know, this could be a matter of whether or not you keep us together.
Oh, Jordan. You know what? I don't know. You know what? So I've actually decided, that one of the first steps for Hannah's plan specifically, not just in general, is I do highly recommend, this is my recommendation as your consultant, that you do receive that trip to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Because it'll be a good way to make sure that you aren't getting too involved with this dog. I think you know, the Big Island should be where you're going. Maui, enjoy it.
I think that I should.
Yeah.
Babe, if you're listening today, that's the recommendation of your trainer. And you know, things don't get better if you don't listen to the people that you hire to help you have success. So
precisely. I'm the professional.
Well, I'll tell you, I like where this training is going already so far. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this.
But let's talk about preparing the home, right?
Yes.
So we've got a vet lined up. We've got nutrition.
Okay.
We've got exercise. We've got a confinement area, i.e. a kennel. We have a area for the dog to rest and sleep by itself if it gets overwhelmed, especially in the beginning. And we've also discussed not carrying your dog. Let your dog walk around. Let your dog explore things. Let your dog sniff and smell things, right? Allow these things to happen. Now let's talk about that mouth. There are lots of things about a dog's mouth that you need to be worried about. The first, folks, I get it. You love your dogs. They love you. They do. They really do. They wag their little tails and they're licking all over your kids and all over your faces. No, please, 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 anything that goes into your mouth, your kids' mouths, or even your kids' faces and your faces, do not let your dogs lick those things or those parts of your body. Dogs' mouths have bacteria that are not good for people and can make your children and yourself very, very sick. Now, if it's important to you, make sure your dog, your puppy, cannot get to it. If it is important and you don't want to have to replace it, or maybe it can't be replaced, make sure your puppy cannot get to it. Because again, until you do the work, there is no guarantee that they are not going to find a way to put it in their mouth.
You know, we've got to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors, but when we come back, Let's talk a little bit about supervisor confine.
Ooh, yeah.
And also about maybe, how do you do that crate training thing?
Absolutely.
We may have a little bit of time for that. I'm your host, Will Bangura.
And I'm Jordan Marsteller.
And you're listening to Pet Talk today on 1100 KFNX. We need to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after these messages. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Will Bangura.
And I'm Jordan Marsteller.
And you're listening to Pet Talk today here on 1100 KFNX, where we take your calls and answer your pet behavior and training questions each and every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Maybe you've got a crazy cat or an out-of-control dog. Maybe you got a new puppy. Maybe you've got a bunny that's bonkers. Maybe you've got a rabbit with bad habits. Doesn't matter what kind of pet you have. Doesn't matter what kind of problem you have. We're here to help you deal with and solve all of those nuisance pet behaviors. Before we went to break, we were talking about getting a new puppy and what you need to do.
Absolutely. So, we were discussing if you care about it, don't let your dogs get to it because we can't guarantee if they are or aren't going to chew it. So, we use a process called supervise or confine. Do not feel bad if you have to kennel your puppy, folks, okay? Here's the thing. We get it that you love them, and we also get it that you have a life and you have a job and you have children and you have things to do. And also, just like your dog, you like your personal space. So you will either A, have your dog on leash, connected to you in your eyesight all the time to prevent pooping, peeing, chewing, jumping, trash raiding, counter surfing, name nuisance behavior, or the dog will be in their kennel. Do not feel bad if you have to kennel them, okay? This is how we rectify these behaviors and we condition the proper behaviors. Step 1, prevent the behavior from becoming a habit. We do that by not even allowing it to happen. Then, when the desired behavior occurs, i.e., pooping and peeing outside, not chewing on my shoe, like walking by and not even looking at it, not even trying to sniff it. We mark and reward these behaviors. So let's talk about one of the big ones, potty training. Okay, I'm gonna give you a brief little rundown. Make sure you come back next week when we can get really in depth with some of these things.
And as far as the potty training, getting in depth, folks, if you need help with potty training, go to the Pet Talk Today podcast. Do a search for it. Go to season 1, episode 16, all about potty training.
Now, I want you to keep a log. Okay, you're gonna keep a log. Every time your dog poops, every time he pees, every time you feed, every time you give water. Find the pattern, take them outside when it is time to go. Mark and reward. Plain and simple. Okay, there's a lot more to it, but watch that podcast. That's the general idea. Let's talk about chewing on things that
How about the crate training? Because if we're talking about, if the number one rule is supervised,
yes. Let's talk about crates.
The puppy's on leash in your eyesight at all times, and if not, you're crating the puppy, but how do you crate?
All right, yeah. So, let's say that we're just gonna say you have a dog that is really, really scared of the crate. Really just terrified at the sight of it. Okay. Well, every single meal that dog has, in the beginning, I want you to put the food bowl next to the crate. Right next to it. Every single meal. Do this for about a week. Then, I want you to put the bowl inside of the crate. Just right inside the doorway, not all the way in the back. Do that for about a week. And I know this is a slow process, I get it. Then I want you to move it into the back of the crate. With the door open, allow the dog to eat their food inside of the crate. Okay? After about a week of doing that, you're going to close the door while they are eating their meal inside of that crate. And then open it afterwards. And then you'll extend the time. You get the idea here, right? You slowly extend how long after they finish their meal that they stay in that crate. Now, once they are in that crate without food present, just to kind of help them relax and settle, you can get yourself a little blue puppy Kong at Petco, online from Amazon or Chewy, from some online website. Stuff it with peanut butter and then throw it in your freezer. Then, right before you put them in that crate, you let them lick that Kong just a little bit and toss it into that kennel. They're going to get real excited and real distracted by it. Get them in there and then slowly close that crate door just a little bit. And then open it, mark and reward them. And do it again, just a little bit longer, mark and reward. And then again, and you're slowly extending this time that they are staying inside of this crate. But once they get to that point that they're going to have nothing and you're closing them in there and you're leaving them alone to make sure that they are nice and calm and relaxed, make sure they have that Kong. Make sure that frozen peanut butter is in there for them. It's going to last them a while. Peanut butter already takes a while for a dog to take care of. All right? Now, in the beginning, I get it. If your dog isn't crate trained, we don't want to freak them out. But I'm saying you either crate them or you watch them. So what does that mean before they're crate trained? Well, sounds to me like you're watching them, or you have a neighbor come over and watch them. You have a family member come over and watch them. A pet sitter come over and watch them. Puppies aren't cheap, folks, okay? Some people are very, very lucky that they find a $10 Labrador Retriever in the parking lot of a Walmart, and then they get home with that dog and it's absolutely a clean bill of health, no anxiety, no aggression, no fears, no phobias, immediately learns how to be potty trained, eats the cheap food, is good to go, doesn't have any problems whatsoever, never needs to go to the vet, and lives to be 13 years old. But that's the pipe dream, okay? If you want a puppy, you better prepare your pocket. I think I'm going to coin that. I like that. If you want a puppy, you better prepare your pocket. Puppies are not cheap. They require lots of preparation, okay? So that's about all I am going to talk about. This one. I want to let Will kind of.
We talk a lot about mark and reward.
Right,
and
right.
If people haven't been longtime listeners,
right,
they might not know, what does mark mean?
Exactly.
So we use a marker system in our training, and what a marker is, it's a signal that lets the dog know that they're getting a reward. And we use that marker to identify to the dog you're getting a reward at a specific time. So for example, a dog sits. As soon as their rear end hits the ground, we mark that behavior, and that lets the dog know that they're getting a reward. Because learning theory tells us we've got 0 to a half a second to get food in their mouth for them to connect the dots cognitively. Well, why am I getting the food? Well, if we're crate training and we get the dog in the crate, we need to reward that dog within 0 to a half a second of getting in that crate. Well, can we do that effectively? Well, maybe not. So we create this marker system. Some people use clickers. Some people use a word, an auditory marker, but you precondition it. You go click treat, click treat, click treat, or say yes, give a treat, yes, give a treat, yes, give a treat, yes, give a treat. It's called associative learning or classical conditioning. You're conditioning the dog that the word yes means treat. You'll never be late if you can spit out the word yes at the exact moment the dog's doing the right behavior, and if the dog was conditioned previously to know that yes means treat. Real easy to do. 30 high-value food rewards in a row. Yes, treat. Yes, give a treat. Yes, give a treat. 30 times in a row, 3 days in a row. Now you start using that marker. Every time they do the right behavior, you mark with yes. Yes means I must give the food reward. It is a promise to pay. You always pay. Now, to get more information about marker training, to get more information about clicker training using a reward marker system, go to the Pet Talk Today podcast. Again, do a Google search for Pet Talk Today podcast. Go to season 2, episode 9. In that episode, we talk about clicker training. We talk about marker training. And that's critical because that is a critical communication system that allows you and your pets to achieve greater success much quicker because the communication is more precise. And when communication is extremely black and white, when it's extremely precise, and when you can motivate your pets and they can connect the dots cognitively, learning happens quickly. It's only when our communication is jumbled, when it's mixed up, that they don't understand us. We are out of time. It's been a fantastic show. Jordan, appreciate you being here.
Of course.
To all of our Facebook listeners and all of our regular listeners on 1100 KFNX, we appreciate you being here. We'll be here next week from 9 to 10 a.m. Again, another episode of Pet Talk Today. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. We'll see you next Saturday.
News, talk, sports. The pulse of Arizona. 1100 KFNX, Phoenix.